Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news about the Groundwater Sustainability Agency, news of last weekend's prisoner releases, weather-related road problems, a detailed rundown on this weekend's Petroglyph Festival, today's gas prices, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Wicknick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Well, tonight the Council will discuss approval of a letter of intent to participate in the GSA with Kern County. This is a letter of intent that the city will send to the county that they plan on being a part of the new GSA. The staff report provides the following information. The Sustainable Groundwater Management Act established a new structure for managing California's groundwater resources at a local level by local agencies. The SGMA requires that by June 30th, 2017, the formation of locally controlled groundwater sustainability agencies in the state's priority groundwater basins and subbasins. Because of the importance of water to the city and the entire Indian Wells Valley, the city must seriously contemplate its role. Of course, the city will be taking public input on this issue. So if anyone has a position or comment on the topic, this will be a good time to present it to the council. You still have time to make it down there tonight. Have you heard the latest on the administration's effort to reduce prison terms and releases of non-violent criminals from federal prisons? Over last weekend, about 6,000 drug offenders were released from federal custody and will continue more releases over the next few days. But some legal experts warn that the government has done too little to help many of them successfully reintegrate into society. The prisoners started being released from Federal Bureau of Prisons custody on last Friday and Monday. As a result of U.S. Sentencing Commission decisions last year to cut sentences of drug offenders by an average of 2 years. The vast majority have spent only a short time in halfway houses, not the 6 months to a year normally required for drug offenders. Before being transferred to a much looser restrictions of home confinement, of the prisoners being released, 1,764 are not U.S. citizens. They will be turned over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and most of them will be deported. Nearly 80% of the rest, or about 3,400, already have moved to the Bureau of Prisons halfway houses or were confined at home, but will be released from custody by Tuesday, according to the Justice Department. The remaining 850 or so will be released directly from prison to a probation officer. Prisoners being released include 250 from California. Edmund Ross, a spokesman for the Bureau of Prisons, said that under normal circumstances, most prisoners are sent to halfway houses before transitioning to home confinement. If an inmate has a stable family situation, the halfway house stay can be as little as a day. We've been able to utilize the halfway houses optimally, he said, by moving people quickly into home confinement. That won't happen to most of the prisoners being released in the coming days. A senior Justice Department official, who spoke on condition of anonymity, said that the Bureau of Prisons has prepared for the mass release for more than a year and has scheduled other releases to put as many as possible into halfway houses before last weekend. The Sentencing Commission voted last year to cut drug sentences by an average of 2 years. It followed up with a vote to make the reductions retroactive. Up to 46,000 prisoners could be affected by the sentencing reductions, according to the Commission. They include some inmates who used violence while committing a drug crime. An additional 8,500 prisoners will be eligible for release this year under the sentence reductions, according to the Commission. Before a prisoner is released, a federal judge must make a determination that he or she is not a threat to public safety. About 25% who applied for early release under the program have been rejected, according to the Sentencing Commission. Last night, Fox News was already reporting on cases of prisoners being released that their charges weren't just drug charges, but included weapons charges, extortion charges, and other serious crimes. Well, anyway, we are trying to get an interview with Kern County Sheriff Donnie Youngblood. We'd like to get his take on this new issue of more prisoners being released into our communities. This follows California doing similar early releases for about a year now. Right now, we have Sheriff Youngblood scheduled to appear on Ridgecrest Talk this Friday. So if you'd like to hear his take on this important issue, tune in to Ridgecrest Talk this Friday, 6 o'clock, right after the news. Now an update about global warming. Well, global warming advocates are now in an awkward position. For years and years, they have been declaring that Antarctica is shrinking due to global warming, also known as climate change. Well, Antarctica is growing, not shrinking, according to the latest study from NASA. Furthermore, instead of contributing to rising sea levels, the still very much frozen southern continent actually is reducing sea levels by 0.23 millimeters per year. The study, by an organization not noted for playing down environmental scares, this will come as a major blow for climate alarmists. For decades, they have cited Antarctica as one of the global warming catastrophes and have claimed that the land ice mass was slowly melting into the sea. But the satellite measurement used in the latest NASA report tell a different story. Many studies are largely based on guesswork because the continent is so vast and inhospitable, meaning that data is extremely limited. To assess it, they use satellite altimeters to calculate changes in the surface height of the ice. What they show is that the amount of ice lost by glaciers collapsing into the sea has been exceeded by the gain in ice mass from accumulated snow. According to the new analysis of satellite data, the Antarctica ice sheet showed a net gain of 112 billion tons of ice a year from 1992 to 2001. That net gain slowed to 82 billion tons of ice per year between 2003 and 2008. Among those alarmists trying to put a brave face on the shocking news is the report's lead author, Jay Zwally. Like so many of his colleagues at NASA's Goddard Institute of Space Studies, Zwally has fought over the years to promote the climate change scare narrative, and he's not about to give up now. I know some of the climate deniers will jump on this and say this means we don't have to worry as much as some people have been making out, he says. It should not take away from the concern about climate warming. As global temperatures rise, Antarctica is expected to contribute more to sea level rise, though when exactly that effect will kick in and to what extent remains unclear. The conclusion of the study, simplified, is while the region is experiencing some breakaway ice shrinkage in area, the region's thickness of ice is increasing at a rate higher than is what is being lost in the breakoffs. So, the debate continues. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll be talking about the Petroglyph Festival. Thanks for staying with us. Well, by now, you have got to have heard the big event of the year is coming this weekend, the second annual Petroglyph Festival. It will be a 3-day event running Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, November 6th, 7th, and 8th. 4 tours per day of the petroglyphs on base are set. The tours will run all 3 days. Tickets will be $35 each. Advanced registration is required. It is a 2-step process. You can go to the Matarango Museum to register, or go online to shop.matarango.org. The 2-step process is online to sign up. First, there is a link to sign up with the Navy for permission to go on the base. This is due to security concerns. The second step is the process to select your tour, date, and time. Tours will leave from the parking lot at Petroglyph Park. All visitors will be driven in vans to the location. No personal vehicles will be permitted. The Petroglyph Canyon site is at 5,000 feet. You should bring water and good hiking shoes, sunscreen, and other garments appropriate for the weather at the time. Every tour will have 1 hour in the Petroglyph Canyon. This is the largest single collection of Native American petroglyph art in the world. Then there will be the street fair on Balsam Street, Saturday and Sunday. There will also be the annual Gem and Mineral Show out at the Desert Empire Fairgrounds, Saturday and Sunday. Also on Saturday, China Lake will open its gates to the airfield for a community open house. It will run all day Saturday until 3 p.m. A valid ID is required for all visitors 16 and older. If you've never been out to the airfield at China Lake, go out to this one. This is an experience you'll never forget. The kids will be amazed with this visit. There will also be the annual Intertribal Powwow. This will take place Saturday and Sunday as well. It will be held all day at Kerr-McGee Center. They will have their traditional hog roast on Saturday, along with all sorts of Indian entertainment and food. Indian tacos will be sold both days. If you haven't had one of those tacos, you haven't had a taco Indian style. They are not like Mexican tacos. The Indian tacos are fantastic. There will also be a wine walk Saturday evening on Balsam Street. There will be live bands, food, and booths available on Boston Street both days. So if you ever say Ridgecrest doesn't have anything to do, this is an event you better not miss. This event is bringing in thousands of visitors from outside Ridgecrest. What a weekend we have in store for us. Also on Friday, the Ridgecrest Republican Women will be hosting Kern County Sheriff Donnie Youngblood. Sheriff Youngblood will give us an update on things going on with his department. It will be interesting to hear his thoughts on all the thousands of supposed nonviolent criminals being released by the Obama administration. Last weekend, the mass releases started. The luncheon will be held from noon to about 1:30 at the Clarion Inn on North Charlie Boulevard. The public is invited to attend. The cost for the lunch is $15. To attend, reservations must be made in advance by contacting Tanya Pyle at 760-446-0815. And after yesterday's storm, we get this news from Caltrans. The Kern Canyon is closed while Caltrans works to clear the roadway of rocks from a rock slide earlier. There were also a couple huge rocks that fell onto the road as well. Caltrans workers on the scene reported that a loader has been called to remove the smaller debris. However, they have had to call in a specialist to remove the larger rocks. As of this time, it is unclear how long the roadway will be closed. You might check with Caltrans before heading to Bakersfield through the Kern River Canyon. And also today, Garlock Road was closed for flooding. We don't know the current status of that road at news time. And how about the weather yesterday in the High Sierras? Well, reports coming out of Mammoth Mountain is that they got hit with 18 to 30 inches of new snow yesterday. This is on top of the snow they got over the weekend when that storm that hit us rolled through. The base at the main lodge is now 12 inches. I should note that a snow base is not a representation of the snowfall. It represents the thickness of the snow after being compressed and conditioned for skiing. This is a great start. Mammoth is scheduled to be the first ski mountain to open in California, and maybe the country. Right now they are planning on opening tomorrow, Thursday. They were already planning on opening next week, but with this great blast of snow and weather forecasts that appear positive for keeping the snow they got, and more on the way, they decided it was time to open. So the season will be off and running tomorrow. Now our monthly real estate report. This is a report of last month's single-family home sales. Last month there was a spike in sales. Monthly sales are usually about 35 homes. Well, last month shows 44 home escrows closing. There was approximately $6.5 million in homes sold. That compares to about $4.6 million last month. Prices range from $26,000 to $300,000. The average home price was $148,000. And currently there are 28 open escrows pending. The pending home sales range in price from $39,000 to $385,000. So home sales are brisk, and average home prices are going up. Now in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's gas prices for Ridgecrest and some surrounding areas. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is still ranging from $2.89 to $3.09. Lancaster is ranging from $2.69 to $3.05. The LA Valley area, $2.67 to $2.89, and Bishop at $3.22 to $3.42. We have 4 stations coming in at the $2.89 figure. It appears prices have stopped any real movement. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay sales tax out of town, you are helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Now stay with us for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Elaine with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, a complex storm system will bring heavy snow and wind to eastern Utah and much of the Colorado Rockies Wednesday into Thursday. Elevations above 7,000 feet could see 1 foot or more of snowfall. Travel will become hazardous, and winter storm warnings are in effect. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas at 74, Georgia at 68, Arkansas at 69, Northern Texas at 75, Arizona at 65, and Los Angeles at 65. For us locally, tonight mostly clear with a low around 41, west wind around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 58, south-southwest wind around 5 miles per hour. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low around 43, north-northwest wind around 5 miles per hour. And your forecast for the Petroglyph Festival. Friday, sunny with a high near 64, northwest wind around 5 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 44, north-northwest wind around 5 miles per hour. Saturday, sunny with a high near 66, northwest wind around 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 45, east wind around 5 miles per hour. And Sunday, sunny with a high near 70, northwest wind around 5 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. And now here's Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant Wednesday afternoon to everyone. Let's start with Burroughs High School football. The Burroughs will play Serrano Friday night. That game will be over in Phelan. Usually when we go over there, it's pretty cold, and Friday night should be no exception. In fact, it's always about 8 to 10 degrees colder there than it is in Ridgecrest. Don't ask why. Maybe it's because it's 3,400 feet over there. We'll see what happens. Hopefully no snow in the forecast. Burroughs counting on their passing game to stay in the game. They have to stop a couple of very good running backs that Serrano has. Serrano is undefeated in the league. Burroughs has one loss. That loss to Oak Hills last Friday night. All right, the Lakers lose to Denver last night at Staples, 121-09. Now the Lakers are off to an 0-4 start. They will take on Brooklyn in Brooklyn on Friday night. That starts a 5-game road trip for them. Brooklyn also is 0-4. Okay, in the NFL, the Tennessee Titans have fired Ken Whisenhunt. Whisenhunt was 3-20 in his 2 years there. They're 1-6 this year. Now, over in the AFC, the Patriots are undefeated. They're 7-0. They lead that. In the North, Cincinnati, the Bengals are 7-0. Who would have thought of that? In the AFC South, it's still anybody's conference. The Colts and Texans are tied at 3 wins and 5 losses. And out west, the Broncos are a perfect 7-0. In the NFC East, the New York Giants are 4-4. They're leading the East, if you can imagine. In the North, the Packers are 6-1. The South Carolina 7-0. And out west, the Cardinals are 6-2. The defending champion Seahawks are 4-4. The Green Bay Packers lost this past Sunday night to the Denver Broncos in Denver. Denver looks very, very good. All right, Major League Baseball managerial note. Bud Black, who was the San Diego Padres manager for 9 years, he was fired last June by the Padres. Well, he was named manager of the Washington Nationals. The Nationals fired Matt Williams at the end of the season, and Bud Black accepted the job, but then decided when he went into contract negotiations, there wasn't enough money on the table. The two sides were well apart, according to media reports in Washington. So apart that Black walked away and decided not to take the job. So I wonder if Bud Black, as much as I like Bud Black, I wonder how much he really wants to manage. Because in San Diego, he was there 9 years, really only had 2 decent years, and really hasn't been a decent year in the last 4 or 5 years for Bud Black. But he walked away from the table. He is one of 10 people the Dodgers will interview for their job. Disappointing a little bit. I don't know how many millions make enough if you really want to manage baseball. Well, a guy that does want to manage and will do a very good job, probably a better fit for Washington, accepted the job. That would be Dusty Baker. Dusty Baker played with the Dodgers. Dusty Baker managed the San Francisco Giants. He managed the Reds. He has been the manager of the year in Major League Baseball 3 times. And he has not managed since 2013 when the Reds let him go. He was named manager yesterday of the Washington Nationals. I think he'll do a very good job with that program. All right, NCAA real quick. Top 5, Ohio State undefeated 8-0. Baylor 7-0. Clemson 8-0. LSU 7-0. Then TCU 8-0. It's going to be very interesting this year, and there's going to be some big games coming up that'll help decide this. But for the committee, the BCS committee, to pick a top 4, as the top 4, again, remember now, play a double elimination for a playoff for a championship. So that championship will be January 8th this year. So it should be very interesting to see who will the 2 final teams be. Hard to go against Ohio State. Baylor lost their quarterback, or at least for the weekend anyway. Clemson looks very good. LSU looks like they have an offense that can score, and so does TCU. It's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, there's 4 or 5 other teams that could get in there that aren't right now in that top 5 teams to watch. All right, that's your sports for this Wednesday. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. All of the KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk coming up next.